Welcome to today's video. I'm the Hooded Lid and I have a new product to talk to you about today. Today is my very first Tom Ford quad. I actually bought two of them, but I don't want to confuse you. Tom Ford just came out with two new quads. One that's warmer, one that's cooler, and the one that's warmer kind of talked to me, spoke to me, and I decided on that one. Interestingly enough, Visionaire did the very same thing. They came out with two palettes, one cool, one warm. It was a few days before I found out about the Tom Ford, and I got that one in cool. So I'll have a cool palette coming up, and today I have a warm palette coming up. Or so I thought. All right, I received this on Friday, and I sat down immediately, and I opened it right in front of the camera. This is Tom Ford's palette 26 Visionaire. And there you go. It looked different online. And I was very surprised at what I saw because this is what I saw online. And this is what I'm seeing in person. This is quite different to me. This does not look gold, and I can't really describe what I was seeing online for this color, but it looks decidedly pink. And this immediately reminded me of the Bobbi Brown palette that I made myself and the Victoria Beckham signature palette in her Smoky Bricks. And I was surprised. I was really surprised. I did a look and I thought it was very pretty, but it didn't look warm. And then I took a look at the models and I really broke it down, and I'll show you here. I'm going to show you the white model first. Now on her, this looks more warm. I can see the pink in here, but it has a warm look. Her inner third has a warm goldy look where they obviously use this, but I'm not getting gold out of this. And then for the medium toned, the eyes are closed and you can see where the rose is a little bit better. So I'm going to try to do that eye. I already shot this part too, so Saturday I shot again, and I thought, you know, when I was editing yesterday, it was just too long. It was like 24 minutes and all over the place, so I thought I'd just do it one more time. Let's do some swatching. So this is the color that reads really kind of gold, and I'm not sure if you can catch that, but it is not reading gold to me. This is champagne to me. Now this is the color that I believe to be pink, and I'm not really sure what it was online, but it wasn't this. It had more of a coppery nature to it, or maybe a rose gold, so there was more gold in it. Then we have a minky shade, and then we have a darker brown. And the minky shade is, to me, it's a taupe, which I find very useful. And then the darker brown. Now in person, you can see this is just different tonally, and I hope that you'll be able to see that as well here. Yes, they are similar, but this is darker and the undertone is different, and this is great for around the lash line or deepening up around the eyeball. Let's see what I can do. In honor of Tom Ford, first let's put on a lip. This is Indian Rose, which is a really nice Your Lips But Better kind of color. Look how close it is to my lip color. So I noticed that they appeared to do this area in pink on the inside to about halfway, and then they went to the mink. So that's what I'm going to do. And we're just going to draw it out. Sketch it out. Open the eyes to make sure some of the color is seen when the eyes are open. And now I'm going to pull it down over the center of the eye because it looks to me like there is pink right there, but just not on the inner third. One thing I did in the other video was tell you my haircut story. I got my hair cut, and I haven't had it cut since I think November. And I've been seeing the guy who cuts my hair for 20 years, at least, probably more. And every time I go in, he says, how much would you like to take off? And every time he asks me that question, I answer the same thing, 2 inches. and then he proceeds to do what he wants to. I'm pretty sure he got 4 inches off my hair. Now my hair was too long. I think there is a thing called hair that's too long, but because I hadn't cut it in 7, 8 months, you know, he said these ends are dead, and he was right, but he took off a lot, and I'm getting used to it, you guys. I'm not super thrilled because I've had long hair most of my life. Whenever I've gotten a short haircut, I just don't feel like myself. And I know to most people this is not short hair, but it is to me. Mink is now going to continue that line. So when we had salons open, I didn't know. And I guess they tried to contact me, but they weren't able to, because I had asked a few weeks before, please put me on your list. I haven't had a haircut in ages. And I didn't find out they were open until I found out they were reclosing. So I gave them a call, and they said they're doing cuts. And they prefer just to do men because they're doing them in the parking lot on asphalt in a regular chair. So you can't make the chair higher, it's not even, and they just prefer to work on men right now. And you have to go in with freshly washed and soaking wet hair. And I said, you know what? I don't care. I need to have my hair cut. It was making me nuts. I don't know. You know what, you guys? After I get my hair cut, I feel like $1,000,000. There's nothing that feels better. And I'm walking tall, and there's spring in my step, and I just feel like a new person. And I didn't feel like that this time. He has a tent in this parking lot. It's not fully tinted, but it is blue, so there's not a lot of, it's a little dark, and it was a cloudy day, and as he did my blowout, I thought, this isn't looking so hot, and maybe it was because it was humid. When I got home and I took a look, and I'm like, I'm not happy. All right, I still haven't blended anything. I'm still just laying everything down, and now I'm going to take, and it actually looks fine, even though nothing's blended. I'm going to take a smaller brush, voila, and I'm going to go in with this darker color and do a little opposite. Most people do outer V. I do an inverted V, and I'll show you what's going on. Because I'm so hooded, if I pull out on my lid, it will end up being down here. So I do something that's more like this and then out. So this part is already out. So it's really kind of just hugging the eyeball a little bit and then going down to the lash line. It's very subtle. And then wipe that off because I don't want a lot, and do a little gentle blending with this one. Now, normally you would kind of blend out, but because I don't want this to go out, I'm just going to place my brush where that pigment is and pull it in, and I'm just trying to soften that line. I think it's soft enough, but just for shits and gigs, I'm just going to hit my finger on it to do a little more softening. And other eye, and I'll be back. And now I'm going to do some blending, but I don't want this to go all the way up to my eyebrows, so I'm going to blend it with some powder. This is the translucent in Rosy Light by Terry. And I'll start at the brow bone and work down. I got a lot on there. And now when I get to the color, really small little movements. Same thing over here. Start up at the brow, and then small little movements when I get to the color. Mostly that taupe. What's most important is what it looks like when the eye is open. I'm not going to have a beautiful look like, you know, Instagram eye when the eye is closed. Now the one thing about these is when you're hooded, you need that darkness above, when your eye is open, to kind of recede your hood. When you're working with colors that are satins, it's hard because the light can hit in a certain area. Hi. And actually put reflection there. And when there's reflection there, it actually pulls down that hood even lower because it's not being receded, if that makes sense. I don't think I smiled at all during this. I think I just so want to not shoot this a third time, and I so want to do a good job that I'm so focused I'm not even smiling. Okay, I think this is a perfectly lovely, beautiful, everyday look. Even though there's sheen to it, I don't think it's egregiously shiny. Have you noticed that we haven't gone on with the gold color yet? I'm going to now. Most people would go in with their fingers for this. I'm the queen of fat fingering, so I'm just going to pick some up and get that in the inner third, which I tried very hard not to get any of the pink color on. And it's still reading champagne to me, but I think in different light it might not. Also with satin shades, I guess because of my hoodedness, it's like, oh, I look blended, and then if I turn just a little bit, everything changes. Oh, I don't look blended. It's starting to get super hot, you guys. I'm going to put my hair up, and I'm going to do my lashes, my brows, and I'm going to come back with some swatches. All right, I did a little bit of mascara. You know what? Recently I've been using the Lash Paradise again, and it's really good. It's really, really good. And I did lining with the Pat McGrath Bronze Blitz and my brows. So let's do some comparisons. This is a palette that I made. It is Flint, Antique Rose, and Bone. And to me, these are extraordinarily similar. So obviously I can make good use of the Tom Ford. It's just they're all satins. Let's do a little swatch. I'm not going to swatch the Bone, but this is Flint. And as you can see, I hope you can see, the Flint is a little more gray, but it's pretty darn close. I would say that the Tom Ford has a little bit of a brown shift to it, but it's, to me, it's dope. The Rose isn't going to swatch incredibly well, and there's not a lot of room for me to do it either, but there's the Rose. So this would be like the matte version, and honestly, I think these are like $25 a pan. This might be $75, so it's not that different than this, which is 4 colors. There's a lot more here, but this is a matte version. I'm just comparing, and then we're going to take a look at Signature. Now Signature is different, and yet it's the same concept. Bone. This Bone, of course, these are all mattes. Yes, they're all mattes, but the story is not dissimilar. Pink is here. This one is more of a peach with a pink in it. It reminds me so much of the inside of a big shell, like a big conch shell. That's the kind of color. It like glows. It's such an amazing, unique color. You look at it and don't think it's unique. It is. A dark brown, a dark brown, a lighter brown, a lighter brown. This isn't quite taupe, but it's on the precipice of, at least it's cool. A lot less product in this one, and I love this one as well. So now I have 3 neutrals, different formulas, different companies, slightly different colors, and I think really this kind of story is so perfect for an everyday look. Did I get the look that the model got? I'm going to pull you in a little bit and we'll see. Close. Now her eyes were open, so we'll just open the eye, and also she's not hooded, right? It matters. I think it's a very, very pretty eye. I don't think it is warm, and I did think I was buying a warm palette. And this is I've mentioned it before and I'll mention it again, a huge pet peeve for me when it comes to marketing and makeup, especially now that we can't swatch things. A lot of us choose not to go to stores because why expose yourself to other people? Companies need to do a better job at representing the colors they are selling to you. They go to the trouble of hiring a photographer, of booking a stage, of booking models, getting their hair and makeup people together. Why do they choose, and this is a choice, you guys, to not represent the colors correctly? Because they're going for a glamorous look instead of an accurate look. And that's a problem to me. Thankfully, there's YouTube and people like me who try to give you light that is very close to natural light so you can see really what the colors are. But it was such a bummer. Let me pull you out to say goodbye. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for me. I hope this was really helpful to you. If nothing else, showing you what the colors really are, sharing my experience. I thought I was getting something warm and I got something cool. But nonetheless, despite the marketing issues from Tom Ford, I do think it's a very pretty palette. It is my first palette. These are very easy to work with. They're fine with the crepeys. I do wish every shade wasn't satin, but I know that's the Tom Ford thing, which is partly why I've never done Tom Ford before, because satins are hard when you're hooded because of the reflection, but the colors are great. Similar idea to these things, where it's an everyday look that is flattering on many, many skin tones, but not all. You know, some people don't look good with those slightly cooler, taupier shades, and that's fine. This wouldn't be a palette for you, perhaps. And that's going to wrap it up for me, you guys. Thanks so much for spending a few minutes with me. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe and smart, and I'm wishing you good health.